warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, welcome back to my video. My name is Antika Nasution. I'm college student from Mathematics Education Study Program at State University of Medan 2019. In the 12th video, I will explain about the topic, the development of European mathematics. So guys, let's check it out. So guys, as we know that mathematics research in Europe based on classical treasures, European mathematics came from Thales and Euclid. The Greek study criticized and spread by Arab Muslims in the early Middle Age. Then in the 12th and 13th century AD was used by Europeans. Then the development of mathematics in Europe started happen in the 13th until 16th century. First, I will explain about in the 13th century European mathematics. In the 13th century, a figure named Leonardo Fibonacci, or better known as Leonardo da Pisa, was the most talented mathematician in the Middle Age. It is known in India biology system since centuries. His greatest work is a book entitled Liber Abaci in 1202. This book contains problems using Hindu-Arabic symbol, which show that he was influenced by his algebra. Liber Abaci focuses more on arithmetic in the field of geometry. This book begins with explanation of 9 symbols of Indian numbers and adding the number 0. Fibonacci always consistently uses a flat line SB line as a symbol prominent in this book. Fibonacci used 3 types of fraction, namely ordinary fraction, then sexagesimal fraction, and unit fraction. Then one of the problem with Liber Abaci is several pairs of rabbits will be born in 1 year. Starting with a pair of rabbits, if each month each pair produces a new pair of rabbits, where a new pair of rabbits will produce after the second month. This problem is known as the Fibonacci sequence, like 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21. So the rule m n with m plus n, etc. His second work, Fibonacci Practical Geometry in 1220, is a collection of geometry and trigonometry material by Euclid and some of his original works, and in 1225 with the title Liber Quadratorium, which is brilliant and original work in analyzing and making it extraordinary during the time of Diophantus and Fermat. In the 13th century, the university like University of Paris, Cambridge, Oxford, Padua, and Napoleon was founded. The university accelerated the spread of that knowledge in Europe. This century produced several mathematicians, namely Jordanus Saxo, Campanus, Sacro Bosco, Roger Bacon, and Nemorarius. And the 12th and the 2 is the 14th century, right? European mathematics in the 14th century was a barren period for mathematics. This is the century of the Black Death that wiped out more than 1/3 of the population of Europe. In this century, there was a 100-year war with political and economic turmoil in Northern Europe at its peak. Although mathematics in the Middle Age was essentially practical, speculative mathematics did not completely disappear. The touch of the scholastic philosopher led to the refined theoretical notion of motion, infinity, and continuity, all of which are central to modern mathematics. Then the greatest mathematician of that time was Nicole Oresme. He wrote 5 mathematical works and partially translated them from Aristotle. In one of those channels appeared the first use of fractional exponent, and in another it placed point with coordinates. Then the third, in the 5th century, 15th century European mathematics. In the 15th century was the beginning of the European Renaissance in art and learning, the culmination of the collapse of the Byzantine Empire, namely with the fall of Constantinople to the Turks in 1453. Following the first chronological order, we mention Nicholas Chusa in 1448. He became governor of Rome. He was now known for his work on calendar reform and his successful experiment in the square of a circle and the bisecting of common angles. Then a mathematician named George Penn-Peurbach in 1423 until 1461. He worked arithmetic and worked in astronomy and compiled table of signs. The ablest mathematician and most influential of this century were Johann Miller in 1436 until 1476. At a young age, he was entrusted with the task of completing the last translation of the Almagest. He also translated the works of Apollonius, Heron, and Archimedes. And the fourth European mathematics in the 16th century. So guys, the achievement of mathematics in the 16th century, there are several, where the first is decimal fraction have been developed, and the next we know symbol algebra is up to a good start. Then there is calculation with Hindu-Arabic numeral become standard. Then the next is cubic and quadratic equation have been solved, and the next there is a negative number has been accepted, and there is trigonometry has been refined and systematic and can calculate it with some very good tables. And the ending in the 16th century, in the ending the 16th century, there are some mathematicians of Europe that make development in mathematics as below. First, there is Simon Stevin in 1548 until 1620 from the Netherlands word arithmetic. He was the first to write about decimal fraction. He also wrote about statistics and hydrostatistic. Then there is Nicholas Copernicus in 1473 until 1548 of Poland. He wrote a theory about the universe, which was completed in 1530 but published only in 1543 after his death. He wrote improvements to trigonometry. Then there is George Joachim Rheticus in 1514 until 1576, a student of Copernicus from Germany. For 12 years, he compiled a trigonometric table of the 6 trigonometric functions in the second interval. Then the first scholar Rheticus defined trigonometric function expressed by the side of a right triangle. Then table Rheticus was published in 1593 by a German priest who was interested in mathematics, namely Bartholomaeus Pittacus in 1561 until 1613. It can be concluded that at the end of the 6th century, the development of mathematics had laid the foundation for further rapid development in the 17th century. It can see algebra had begun to be written using symbol, letters, number. Calculation were standard with the Hindu-Arabic number system. Decimal fraction have been arranged. The theory of high-degree equation has been solved in a certain form. Then negative numbers have been included in the number system. Then trigonometry functions have been systematically arranged together with the tables of the trigonometric function. Based on we know the development of European mathematics that I have explained. In addition, so we can conclude mathematicians in European in 13th until 16th century, there are first Fibonacci, 2 René Descartes, 3 Isaac Newton, 4 Leonhard Euler, 5 Carl Friedrich Gauss, and 6 Augustin Louis Cauchy. Okay guys, I think that's enough my explanation about the topic the development of European mathematics. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you have any suggestion, criticism or comment, you can write it in the comment column. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell to get the next video in the topic of history of mathematics. I say thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you in the next video.